Hello. Thanks for coming today. So we are currently going through a revolutionary shift. First, there was the Industrial Revolution, then there was the mass media revolution, and now we are in the digital revolution. If you think about it, advertising, it stayed relatively the same for about 50 years until the internet and social media came and disrupted it. I mean, when is really like the last time that you bought something because you saw a newspaper ad or a billboard? Now, advertisers are spending their money towards platforms like YouTube and Instagram and Facebook. And on top of these platforms, we have these things called influencers. Now, you might be wondering, like, well, what is an influencer, Rachel? Well, simply put, an influencer is just someone like you and me, except for they choose to consistently post stuff online. This could be on Instagram, on YouTube, and it can be in the niche of their choice. So this could be beauty tutorials or comedy skits or these things called vlogs. If you don't know what a vlog is, people literally film just their life, like drinking soup, and you find it entertaining. And somehow they've amassed a huge following and have become an influencer. So if you're wondering maybe why your kids are glued to YouTube, this is why. And this is the world that I work in. So currently, influencer marketing is a $4.5 billion industry, and it's projected to be a $10 billion industry by 2020. So what is happening is these brands, they're realizing, wow, this is a highly effective way to market to millennials. The problem is it's virtually the Wild West. When it comes to regulations, procedures, rates, measuring ROI, all these things, we're figuring it out as I speak on this stage. So a little bit of background on myself. My name is Rachel David. I run a company called #Communications. It's an influencer marketing company, and it's been around for about 2 years. In the past 2 years, we've done over $1 million worth of brand deals with top creators in the world and top brands. Now, not only is that in one place, no, we work with companies in Asia, in Europe, in America, and each place deals with influencers a little bit differently. So during this talk, I hope that I can share with you some of the craziness I've seen, this unique perspective I've had, and equip you with ways that you can utilize influencers to your advantage, or at the very least, just make you look a little bit cooler amongst the millennials in your life. So, I believe that influencers are really applicable to anyone trying to get attention on anything. Over the past 5 years, we have seen businesses virtually transform, especially in the e-commerce space, thanks to influencers. I read this stat that 70% of purchase decisions by millennials are made from a peer recommendation, which makes sense because, like, if I am gonna go get laser hair removal, I'm gonna go ask my friend and be like, well, where did you go get it? Because I'm not just gonna like look at an ad. I wouldn't even look at a Facebook ad for a laser hair removal recommendation. And then I read the stat that 60% of in-store purchase decisions are influenced by something that someone has seen on a social media post or a blog post. Like 60%, that's really high. But if you think about why that is, on average, millennials are spending 9 hours on social media a day. So oftentimes, what is happening is these YouTubers they're watching are starting to become their friends more so than their real-life friends. So I read this case study about these two founders. Their names are Nick and Alex. They are the founders of Hi Smile. You might have seen it. It's a teeth whitening product. You might have seen Instagram models taking a picture with it. It's very photographable. So these young founders created this product, and I read the headline, Kylie Jenner helped two 20-something-year-olds turn a few $1,000s into a $40 million business. I was like, oh God, let me read more. And then I read, within 18 months, they did $10 million in sales. So I was like, okay, well, how did you do this? Well, what they did is they actually, yes, it's a very millennial product, but they took a millennial approach to their marketing. They started off by utilizing these mid-level and micro influencers. They started generating more sales. Eventually, they were able to save up enough money to then do a brand deal with Kylie Jenner, the big kahuna. When she put it online, it went out to 75 million of her followers at the time. She's a little bit higher now. And their sales skyrocketed. So I often get asked, what is the difference between a celebrity and an influencer? And it's really just one word, my friends, and that's relatability. People love that these influencers, that they're uncensored and they're unscripted, and every now and then they'll just drop the F-bomb. And I know you might be thinking, but Kylie Jenner, she is a celebrity. And I agree, but you have to think about, what is she famous for? Like, she's not famous for singing a song. She's not famous for playing a character that you fell in love with. She's not famous for dribbling a ball down the court. No, she's literally famous for her personality. Yes, it started off on a reality show, but then she took that, she started posting consistently online to the point where millions of people followed, were engaged, they got to know, love, and trust her, to the point where just recently Forbes put her on the cover and they named her one of the youngest billionaires in the world. She just made $900 million in 3 years off of her Kylie Cosmetics line. That's pretty insane. If you look at the data, really only 3% of consumers are influenced by a celebrity endorsement when it comes to their product purchase decisions, which actually makes sense, because when I am looking at Jennifer Aniston on the TV and she is promoting Aveeno, like, how dumb do you think I am? Like, really? Like, I know that you were airbrushed for 3 hours, and then you probably got some weird vampire facial with your Hollywood friends that I am not gonna go and get. So, I'm not buying it. Sorry if you're watching, Jennifer. I mean, she could. No, I wanna watch somebody who is like me promoting a product. Now, not only is influencer marketing applicable to brands, I do believe it's applicable to people, so this is where you come in. Ask any millennial if they're trying to build up their Instagram right now, and they're probably gonna say yes. And that's not something to be looked down on. If anything, they know more than anybody that building a personal brand today is more important than ever when it comes to things like accessibility, opportunities, job employment. Before I started my company, I basically made YouTube videos. I took a whole year off. I made YouTube videos with no intention of really doing anything. I just wanted to share my life, vlogs, those things we were talking about. And I ended up, garnering an audience and growing that. So then by the time that I actually did have this idea that I was gonna start this company, I immediately had a customer base, I immediately had clients, because they grew with me, they trusted me, and they were like, oh, yeah, okay, well, Rachel is talking, she's doing this thing, why don't we use her? To this day, I haven't had to spend any money at all on marketing. To this day, I haven't had to spend a penny on marketing. So personal brands are important, and part of that puzzle piece is growing your audience. So how do you do it? So one way you can is utilize an influencer. So say that you have a vegan Instagram page that you want to grow. You would go and you could actually pay a bigger influencer in your niche to shout you out. And these shout outs are how a lot of people are growing really quickly. So one of the most interesting discoveries that we're going to be faced with is in the next 20 years when Generation Z grows up. And I often get asked by concerned parents, what do you think is going to happen? The thing is I don't know. Like, I'll be the first one to admit that I think that there should be more kids outside playing with a ball. But I am happy to say, if we're relating this to marketing, on the regulation front, we are putting stricter rules in place. So part of what I do is I'm involved with the Ad Standards Council, and we come up with decisions of how people are going to be consuming branded content. So for example, you might see influencers posting on Instagram, and they post something, and it'll say hashtag ad at the bottom. This is now required to put a hashtag ad or disclose if it's hashtag sponsored. Or if you're watching a YouTube video, in the first 30 seconds, they do need to disclose if it is sponsored by a brand. Now, of course, there's still things that we do need to figure out. And just a couple days ago, I was watching a video and I saw that Jake Paul actually put out a video that was 13 minutes long, and 7 minutes of that was upselling to kids, advertising his products to kids. Well, there's rules around that in broadcasting. Like, you're only allowed to market to kids, like 20% of your program can be marketing to kids. This had almost like 50% marketing to kids. So do we still have a long way to go? Yes, but it's like I'm saying, it is the Wild West right now. But we are taking it one day at a time, and we will get there. So lastly, we gotta talk about the money. Everyone wants to talk about the money. And I think that there's this stigma attached to influencers, and that they're all these like young millionaires and that they get paid too much. And hey, Jake Paul, I mean, I just saw him say it. He's like, I made $50 million this year. And I'm like, good on you. So there's this stigma, and people think that these kids are riding around their Lambos and they all have pet monkeys, but I assure you that 99% of them do not. I actually do a podcast every week where I interview an influencer, a creator, and we talk about how they make money online and their different revenue streams. And a lot of them are just trying to sustain making content as their full-time job. What I want you to keep in mind is not only did the advertising industry change, no, the entertainment industry changed as well. You know, advertisers, they had bigger budgets to go and make commercials. There was like 5 times the amount that they have now. And then even on the entertainment industry front, there were bigger grants, there were bigger bursaries, there was a support system, a much bigger one for artists. So now, when you look at an influencer who's doing a sponsored post, they're essentially getting 2 for 1 for a fraction of the price. So relatively, they're not actually getting paid that much. These creators, they are on-camera talent, they are directing, they are producing, they are lighting, they're doing their makeup, they are, editing, their management, they're their admin, and they are their distribution. I mean, I work for a broadcaster. That is something, actually getting it out to an audience and putting it on camera. So if you see a sponsored post by a creator that you like, don't roll your eyes. If anything, this is the time that you should actually go and interact and show your support. Because when you actually say there's something sponsored, if you even just like that post, you know that that's when the brand is actually looking at their stuff. So it means a lot to a creator. They're already feeling a little bit self-conscious of how are you going to react to it. But if you like it, then the brand sees that, and then they might want to do another deal with them, and then you get more content. So if you see an affiliate link, and you need that product anyways, use it. If you see a promo code, use that. If you see even a YouTube video, and you know how sometimes, I know it's annoying. You watch, and in the middle of a video, there's an ad. But when you watch that full video through, they get paid a little bit more. And what you're doing is you're really helping these highly creative people build their lives so they can make more content for your enjoyment. So in closing, I'm gonna keep it super short. To recap, influencers, they're not going anywhere. Number 2, stop picking on your kids. Number 3, support the influencers in your life. And number 4, have a great fucking day. Thank you.